Good morning. Welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. I'm here sharing with you today this fun fold. I was reading Nikki Spencer's blog and she had shared this amazing fold, which is so easy but really cool at the same time. So I'm using for this card the beautiful Rings of Love designer series paper from Celebration. We've only got a week and a half left to go of Celebration, so if you like this paper, ask me how you can get it for free. Okay, I'm using for this stamp set Eden's Garden, just for the lovely background stamping around my greeting. And I'm also going to change up. I use Peaceful Moments for this card, but this time I'm going to use Hello Friend, Hello There, and Sending Hugs for my greetings on this card. Okay, I'm also using Petal Pink, Parakeet Party, and Sweet Sorbet inks. Two of our new inks, as well as the Petal Pink for the background colour. All right, I've chosen this paper because it has a fairly muted B side and the bright A side. It doesn't really matter what paper you choose. The card shows off both pieces of paper. So it would be good if you chose paper that both sides coordinate together. Okay. Now, let's just pop these out of the way. I'm going to use my Simply Scored tool just because it's much easier to score with, and using the largest ball tip because I'm using designer series paper, and you just score at 2, 4, 8 and 10. So basically 2 inches intervals on either side, leaving a 4-inch panel in the middle. Knew I'd knock that. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold along those score lines so that I can see them clearly. So I'm folding inside, and then folding back again to create the little closure. All right, now I need to do some cutting with my trimmer. Try not to knock my phone. And for this bit at the bottom, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. So I'll just measure 2 inches up for the base and use my little scoring tool. 1, 2. Use my little scoring tool to make a little mark there, and then 2 inches there, so that it's actually perfectly square. Okay, so I've got my little mark there and my score line there, and just making sure that's nicely lined up. Trim off that corner, and then with the other end, got my little score mark there, and my little mark there. Okay, so there's my mark there, and then for the top, I'm going to go from that mark right across to the top there. So the length of this is actually half of a piece of designer series paper, so it's 12 inches by 6 inches. So your 2-inch mark leaves you 4 inches on that side. And so I'm just going to go from my little point there up to the second fold over, and my little point there up to the center of the card there. And then, if I've done it all right, this is how your card looks, like that. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So 12 inches by 6 inches, scored at 2, 4, and then 8 and 10, 2 inches up on each side, and then you cut from the first score line across, and then from the center of the card right down to create that lovely. So somebody very smart came up with that great design, which is applicable for so many different occasions and types of cards. So I'm just going to burnish my scoring there so that it holds flat. And I've got 3 pieces of beautiful leftover cardstock. Okay, so I'll bring my card back in so you can see where we're going with this. Now I've chosen colours that coordinate with the paper. I love that. And on your designer series paper and also in your catalogue, there is always a list of the coordinating colours for each of your papers. Okay, so this is my inside panel. And then for the front of my card, I've got crushed curry and my little diamond piece here. Okay, so I don't need any of those pieces just at the minute. This one's for my greeting, and this is for my punching with the bow punch. Okay, rightio. So I'll start by loading up my stamps, and I'm just going to use this little one and perhaps this one here, I think, maybe. And as I said, I'm going to do hello there for my greeting and sending hugs for the inside of my card. Let's have a look, make sure I've loaded up all my stamps there. Yep, I think I've done it all. All right, so using Sweet Sorbet first, I'm going to stamp my hello there right in the center, and we're going to use the lovely Labels Pick a Punch to trim the edges of that. So that's my Sweet Sorbet, which also coordinates with the cardstock. And then on the inside of my card, doing sending hugs. Such a great greeting to use for all sorts of occasions. Okay, that's my Sweet Sorbet done. And then I've chosen Parakeet Party and Petal Pink, basically because they replicate the colours on the inside of the cards, Parakeet Party and Petal Pink. And there's the crushed curry there as well. Okay, and I'll stamp, just adding a little bit of interest to my card there. And then a little bit on the front to round out the images that I'm going to punch. And then a little bit of hello Lynette, Petal Pink with this other image, and some Petal Pink to coordinate with this one. There we go. Do I need another one? There we go. Very pretty. So minimal stamping really, and it's just to add a little bit of interest. Okay, so I think that's all my stamping complete. Pop that aside. I can stick this one in, just use a bit of my seal onto my crushed curry piece. Now these are just a little bit smaller, so this panel here is 4 inches by 6 inches, so you can choose. I think I've got 9.5 centimeters by 14.5 or something like that for my piece, but just a little bit smaller than the actual. There we go. That's the inside complete, and then I'll adhere this one to this. All right. And the important thing to remember is when you're sticking this on, you only want to stick it on 1/2 of the triangle. So what I always try to do is just flip it over and put it exactly where I want it to be, and then put my adhesive just on that piece. And then when I flip it over, I shouldn't have any excess adhesive on the other side so that it doesn't catch. Okay, so that's that bit done. Rightio, now for some punching. My piece of cardstock here is exactly 3/4 of an inch, and I slide that in and slide that in on the other side, making sure it's nice and straight. There we go, there's my greeting, hello there. And then my embellishments come from the bow punch. So I've got Parakeet Party leaves, I wonder if I can fit another one in this scrap. There we go. 2 of the large parakeet party. Tip that all out, and some small ones as well. 1, 2, and it's a great way to use up your scraps that you have left over. Just punching little bits and pieces that can be used. All right, now, because I'm a little bit of a lazy crafter, I like to put my glue just on the back there and stick all my bits and pieces on. 1 there, 1 there, so I can see what I'm doing. And then, all right, so I want that one like that. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals onto the back of them to anchor them in place. So 1, 2, 1 on all of this detail and 1 on the end. Okay, so that way they should be all anchored into place, and also I won't have excess glue hanging out on the edges where I don't want it to be. Okay, so there's my hello there. Isn't that lovely? And then final bit of bling, some champagne rhinestones. 1. You can see I've used most of the inside ones as my favorite. 2, 3. Always do 3s. Apparently it's what looks best, 3s. So some experts said that, and I have believed them and done it ever since. All right, there's my fun fold card. Super easy, a great way to show off gorgeous, gorgeous papers, and would look so nice with so many different papers that we have in our catalogues. I hope you'll give that one a try. It's not hard. Bye-bye now.